Hello, guys. Oh, hi, Lily May. It's okay that you can't make it live. I hope you have a fantastic weekend. Welcome back to the channel. My name is Ashley Brianna Eve, and this is where we look at the stars and through astrology and tarot. So I wanted to do a little bit of a roundup of everything that's going on, and then I wanted to dive into actually a great question that someone asked in one of the comments last night. And I was like, I've never actually thought to look at Justin Baldoni's natal chart through that lens. So thank you guys. When you ask questions, I do put them down on a list, I promise, and I do try to get to them. We're going to have a different kind of look at Justin Baldoni's natal chart. And then we're going to do a card pull just in general for the week ahead. Like for celebrity pop culture in general, we'll do a lens through Justin and Blake as well. But what can you expect for the week ahead? So welcome to the channel, guys. Live calls or live streams, I just see them as hanging out and chatting. So there's no script. We just kind of go with the flow. And I know that's not everyone's jam, and that's totally cool. If that's not for you, then it's totally cool. I post pre-recorded content as well. But where do we want to start today? I do have a bit of a migraine. So if I'm a little bit quieter than usual, that is why. I've been trying to shake this flu for the last week. So let's just see where I want to start. All right, let's start here. Oh, whoops. All right. Sorry, I didn't mean to hit play before I was sharing it with you guys. All right. So have you guys heard? Let's start here. And again, I'm probably a lot quieter than usual. I'm so sorry, guys. Have you guys heard? So I think it was last night on Twitter. No, TikTok. On TikTok, Gent Talks released this. Now, Justin Baldoni has a new interview that's coming out apparently on Monday. What I'm seeing from reports is this was actually recorded in November. I will say, it makes me a little bit nervous. I don't know about you guys. It makes me a little bit nervous because if you are following the Karen Reed case, which is something that I've been following through Emily D. Baker's channel, if you're following the Karen Reed case, she did something like this. She had done an interview that I think was intentionally, like they had planned to release it earlier, but didn't, it seemed like. And then when they released it, I imagine her team had almost assumed she would win, but she didn't. And she's going in a retrial. And I think we call it the Crown here. I think the prosecution in the US is trying to use it against her. So it makes me a little bit nervous, but I feel confident that Brian Friedman would, actually, let's pull a card for it. Okay. They're feeling strength for it. 3 of coins. Yeah. He feels good for it. Justin feels good for it, but let's see. Let's see what it's about. So this is Gent Talks. Let's see.
I had a intense year. This morning I sent a text message. I had anxiety.
Why is that?
I haven't talked about this yet, but
2 p.m. Eastern, it looks like, on Monday. So what do you guys think he's going to talk about? Hello. First time. Oh my goodness, it's so nice to see you right from the beginning. 2 a.m. in Australia. Oh my goodness, I have so many clients that are in Australia as well. And I always, I usually don't do like early morning calls, but for my Aussie friends, I always do. But welcome to the channel. The live streams are always so relaxed. Honestly, guys, I know it triggers some people that find my channel and then they get mad at me about it. But I really look at, just to give context to anyone that's new here, I honestly look at live streams as me just hanging out with friends. Honestly, like just sitting around, hanging out with friends, having a coffee, having a tea. That's what live streams are to me. So they're super relaxed. But I do create as I have time, because I do astrology and tarot and branding for clients. As I have time between clients, I do also record pre-recorded content as much as my schedule allows. And I do try to get that out for you guys as well. Yeah, I agree. Very likely there's anything that's going to be said about Blake. He talked about his anxiety. I do wonder if he'll talk more about his ADHD, which I think for a lot of people that have ADHD, for me. So if you have ADHD, my friends, I had someone reach out from the channel and they said, Ashley, I didn't realize you had an ADHD YouTube channel as well. It's kind of a passion project. So I'm not consistent posting over there. My background was a counselor. But yes, if you have ADHD, you can check out my name, ADHD and Human Design on YouTube. because I was a counselor and I have ADHD. So I think he might talk more about that. I think potentially might talk more about that. But I agree, even if there had been something that was said in regards to Blake originally, I think Brian Freeman would make sure it's like next. Yeah, I do human design readings for my clients, for clients, for people. Yes. So if you go to Ashley, I really should start putting my website in the comments, but ashleybriannaeve.com. Yes, I have human design readings, astrology readings. That's really what I do full time. But one day I do want to be able to hang out with you guys full time because you guys are amazing. Good morning. Bless you as well. Beautiful. It's so nice to see you in the chat. So it looks like Monday, 2 p.m. Eastern. What do you guys feel? Do you guys want me to stream Monday? What's tomorrow? Oh my gosh. What's Monday? Sorry, we're working with a migraine here. Have some compassion today because I'm probably going to skip over my words a bit. Let's see what Monday looks like for me. Monday, I only have calls from 11 till 1. So I am free at 2 p.m. Eastern. Do you guys want to meet here? See if we can find the podcast and stream it as much as possible without getting in trouble. Obviously, and obviously go follow Gent Talks. But it should be really interesting. I do have feelings to go and talk more about his ADHD. And I think it's smart because his ADHD also gives context to that voice note. So where I see a lot of people criticize Justin in regards to that voice note, it's like, well, he's apologizing. Look how much he's apologizing and leaving that voice note at that time in the morning. Who has ADHD here? Because I have ADHD, and when you have ADHD, there's something called rejection sensitivity that can be a piece of that. And so not every ADHDer struggles with rejection sensitivity. However, if Justin Baldoni does struggle with rejection sensitivity on top of having ADHD, that is like that rumination. Even leave out that, maybe they work till 1 o'clock in the morning or they're used to messaging each other in the middle of the night. Like even if we put all of that aside, it is such an ADHD thing to at like 2 o'clock in the morning be like, oh my God, I hope that person didn't take that wrong. I hope I didn't hurt their feelings. I hope they're not mad at me. Like that's the kind of rumination. ADHD as well, Ruthie. Yeah, check out my ADHD and human design YouTube as well, my friend. You might enjoy it now that you guys are getting more into human design. Yay for Monday. Thank you, my friend. Yeah, so and my background was a counselor as well. And so when I heard that voice note from Justin Baldoni, and I have a feeling when he talks about the anxiety in this little clip preparing for Gent Talks on Monday, that ADHD might be a piece of it that he talks about because it's going to give so much context to him. And it's going to give a lot of context, even when you look at ADHDers, maybe they are even maybe there is something that he's worried someone's going to come out about, or there's someone that's going to come out from his past in support of Blake. I have no doubt that he has stuff he regrets. He's human. And if he has the ADHD on top of it, rejection sensitivity it's tough. I don't know if I could I know I couldn't. I could never handle the criticism and the spotlight like that. Oh my goodness, yes. Definitely book a reading when it is right for you, my friend. Canadian pricing as well as exchange rate is killer. I know. It's hard because I'm international. So I've worked with people. Actually, most of my clients are in Australia, the UK, and the US. But it's so tough because I know it. And that's why thank you for pointing that out. That's why I made my human design reading cheaper. So it is, I think it's 122. I made it cheaper because I definitely try to make it so that I can make entry-level offers more accessible. Okay, so let's look at, so that is, we can watch it for those hopping on just one more time. It's only 14 seconds.
I had a intense year. This morning I sent a text message. I had anxiety.
Why is that?
I haven't talked about this yet, but
it's going to be interesting. I do wonder if it's something in regards to mental health. I don't know. I just have that feeling. I don't know about you guys. All right, what's up next? We're just going to do like a roundup of things before wait till you see his natal chart from this perspective. And I have to give you guys credit because you guys were the ones like, Ashley, look at this. Okay, what else did I want to look at? Okay, this is what else. I just this is the kind of things that I find interesting. And then I just share with you guys. I think this is it. Yeah. You're wearing my spirit animals. I love owls. They're mine as well, my friend. So it's an amulet that was made, custom made for me back about 5 years ago. People like I done astrology and human design for everyone for that long, just on the online space, and everyone called it real life Hogwarts. And so someone made me a custom amulet for an owl. But yes, owls are my spirit animal as well. I have owls all over the house. All right. See, this is the community. This is what it's all about, finding your people. Okay. Lady C. I don't know if you guys know Lady C. She is someone that I've more associated with like the royal family and royal news. I don't know a lot about her, but she seems to have like an in on some stuff. And I love that she just like tags Blake Lively and Ryan Reynolds in this. But she says the bongo bongo drums are telling me, that's how she always calls it with like her insiders. The bongo bongo drums are telling me about a new and fascinating dimension to the Blake Lively, Ryan Reynolds, Justin Baldoni mess. Colleen Hoover, the author of It Ends With Us, became convinced, and this goes actually into the blind item we saw the other day, where they were saying, the blind was saying Colleen might be suing them because of all this mess. So it lines up with what sources are saying in other places. So Colleen Hoover, the author of It Ends With Us, became convinced as a result of discussions with Lively that the only right thing for her to do was to wrest the sequel rights out of the book from Baldoni as a result of the awful treatment was being told Lively had suffered at the hands of the innocent Baldoni. So Lady C believes that he is, and from what her sources are saying, innocent in this, and that, this was kind of a scheme. The escape route was the morals clause, which a lot of you guys have been saying, hence the necessity to accuse him of sexual harassment or assault. The objective was that Lively and Hoover would then produce a sequel themselves. With that in mind, Hoover set up Heartbones Entertainment with producer Lauren Levine. My information is that she, possibly conveniently, chose to believe Lively never checked with Baldoni, saw dollar signs, and now she's facing professional wipeout as a result of her association with Lively has seen the light. This case gets more and more interesting by the minute. It really does. Which would go, hello, Mint. Hello. It's so nice to see so many familiar faces. Superb Health, Super Bowl. Yeah, I love that. So many familiar faces in the chat, guys. It's so nice to start Saturday with you guys. So that goes in line with what we're hearing in a lot of sources, that one, there might be a lawsuit coming from Colleen. We did pull tarot cards last week that had confirmed that it looks like there is a lawsuit coming. We'll see. It will be interesting what she has to say. And it'll be interesting if she's dragged into this in terms of like depositions and stuff. What was she told? Do you guys think this is even going to go to court? I don't know. I feel like every day I'm doubting it more and more. All right. This is another one you guys sent me yesterday. Oh, I didn't want to pull it up there. And I found you guys, I don't know if you guys follow Molly McPherson. She's a PR person that I followed for a long time before this. Like, I've always been obsessed with pop culture. Like, this is just something I've always been obsessed with. And she was talking about some interesting PR stuff, because I know a lot of people are still like, no, Taylor wouldn't have talked, Tree wouldn't have talked to TMZ, no. So we're gonna listen to Molly as well today. We've got like just a bunch of little things that we're gonna check in on. But I want to know, like, do you guys think this is gonna go to court? Hello, Vanessa. I'm watching from the beginning at the speed of 1.5 to catch up. I love it. I'm talking slower today with my migraines, so you should catch up pretty good. All right, let's share this next video. Is this real? Like, you guys are good. You guys sent me this.
When you have somebody as beloved and as recognizable as Blake, the only way it can really work is if you have somebody that resembles her. So we did a TikTok search. We looked through thousands of women and tapes, and we had lookalikes submit who had never acted before. And then I found Isabella, our wonderful casting director, sent me her tape, and I watched it. And I remember asking, did she put that mole there in that place? And if you look at her at the right angle, it's a spitting image more than just the resemblance. Okay, before we finish the rest, remember Taylor said, like,
I had nothing to do with this. And I know it might be like, but Ashley, it's TMZ. It's an interesting take that the PR specialist and professional Molly McPherson has on that. So stick with me, guys. Stick with me.
She is a phenomenal actress. And this was her first film.
She told me Taylor Swift helped her get the role, like signed off on her audition date.
I had brought in, I was casting, and I had actually brought in and showed her casting tape to Blake and Taylor, and they were both like, yes, her. And that's a true story.
What do you guys think? What do you guys think? Oh my gosh, my hair definitely looks like I was just outside taking care of farm animals. Sorry, guys, I'm like half put together today. It is freezing in Ontario. Yeah, I don't think she understood what kind of Pandora's box she opened. I don't think she wants to go to court either. I don't know what. We're going to pull some cards as well today. But what I'm going to do from now on, some people are like just starting to get into the astrology and tarot and stuff here. What we'll do is like kind of like the non-woo part, and then we'll get into the woo part at the end and slowly get the rest of the community over to it. Okay, so with that in mind, we're going to go over to Molly. Have you guys ever watched Molly? She's great. I like her a lot. So I don't agree with some of her takes, which is okay. People don't have to agree on everything. I don't agree with some of her takes. I think that Blake's career is going to be a lot more destroyed than what Molly thinks, but I don't know. She's a professional. I guess she knows what some of these PR firms are capable of concocting to help people. So what do I know? I think it's going to be really hard for Blake to come back from this. She definitely went down the wrong rabbit hole. Yep. Yeah. Everything about Hollywood. Yes. Yeah. It's tough. I hope that this is the year where people, feel like, I feel like to get ahead in industries like that, like how, and the question I don't have the answer to this. This is actually just like a question I'm imparting on everyone is like, how do you get ahead and stay ahead as someone that's genuinely nice in an industry like that? Like, I don't have the answer to that. And that's honestly what kind of makes me sad in general in life is, like how do you have to sell your soul to get to that level? I don't know. I don't have the answer, but okay. So where do I want to start? 2938. Okay. This should be right at the beginning.
Love that. Okay. So let's just jump into Taylor. Okay. Cause that was the whole point of me doing this live was about Taylor Swift. So I noticed on TMZ this week that there was a post by, I should have put it up. I should have had it up ahead of time on TMZ about the, just about Taylor Swift, right? The first one I saw was saying in the headline, "I'm not your dragon," in reference to found out in Discovery and Justin Baldoni's side leaking all this information out there that Ryan Reynolds summoned Taylor Swift to their penthouse. Blake Lively was there, and then they summoned Justin Baldoni. And that's where Ryan Reynolds excoriated him, like absolutely dressed him down.
And just to interrupt also, so I don't get in trouble, I want you guys to think back to the blind item. So we did the blind item, oh my gosh, the days blur together, maybe Wednesday or Thursday. And the blind item had said there is no way that Taylor goes to a residence and she's not aware of who's there and what's going on there. Like her team would not allow it.
And it was very tense. So it's all in the legal papers. Taylor Swift was there. Taylor Swift has a song and it ends with us. And everyone knows that they're buddy-buddy. Now, likely was she there to leverage power against Justin and intimidate him? Yes. I talk about it in my podcast this week, the PR breakdown, about power moves. Talk about Donald Trump, Ryan Reynolds, and Jay-Z using Blue Ivy, which I 100% think he's doing. To do it, these are demanding, controlling people, and I think like Ryan manipulated Taylor. I mean, she may have gone willingly, maybe. I could give her not give her the benefit of the doubt because that.
Okay, we're going to scooch forward ahead a bit. So she is thinking, not sure he has a timeline correct. I think Ryan Reynolds braiding him is a separate occasion. That might be different. Yes, maybe. I think that was with the cast or something. I don't know why they're all meeting at the house all the time. That just seems so weird to me. I don't know. But I do agree that was a power move for sure. I do agree with the power move piece. But thank you for pointing that out. So Molly is a PR specialist. And sometimes it's just hard to keep on top of these bloody timelines. It seems like there's so much going on. Sorry, guys. I'm still struggling with this. Okay. 32. So this should be the next spot. There's a couple spots that I thought were really interesting that I just wanted to point out.
Other one today, okay, saying that Blake's not allowed to be in the suite for the Super Bowl. And the reason why, Taylor the Dragon, exactly. Will you pull across any of your old ones to YouTube, like with Dr. Abby? No, those will probably still stay because people paid for those, so I'm going to keep them there. Ryan, your second Canadian Ryan. That is so funny. I can't believe Taylor's always the victim. Isn't that funny?
Oh, I might have gone back.
I know, but yeah, I don't know if it's victim as much as she just wants to get out of Dodge on this one because she doesn't want to be dragged in she doesn't want to be dragged in and suffer the legal consequence, right? Okay, so do you think it's possible BL has evidence but holding her cards close to the vest? Wondering if your insiders have a clue to her evidence. So they're not going to know. Well, I'll say what insiders told me from the Justin side is they knew what Blake's team was doing. Like they knew they could spot what was happening, but also probably in this.
So it looks like the insider is saying that his team knew. So why I wanted to point that out. Hello, well, welcome to the family. So nice to see you here. Welcome to the chat. Why I wanted to add that little clip. It's like, Ashley, who cares? It's like a 10-second clip. That's not even significant. Why I feel like this little piece here is so significant is if we think back to how all of this came about, what it kind of looks like and where Justin got kind of just destroyed in the media was like, why are you hiring a crisis team? Well, he obviously, and the insiders had said to Molly, it seems that he knew it was coming. He knew something was coming. So again, and I know you guys are smart and you guys know, and you're like, obviously, Ashley, but it just gives more context to like, that's why he hired the crisis team. You know, there's still people that are like, no, it's because he knew that he SH'd her and that's why. He seems to have expected all of this and saw all of this coming. Thank you, Vanessa. I know I never say it. If you guys enjoy, please hang out. We do astrology and tarot as well. So it's kind of like traditional pop culture news with like a bunch of your friends hanging out. And then we look at the astrology and the tarot for it. So it's a lot of fun. We have a lot of fun here. Okay. The next part. I'm trying to find, I wonder if I wrote the timestamp down for this part. One day we'll be fancier, but till that day, I am just a one-woman show.
People said or not, I don't know. But that's why the New York Times used the text from the inside, and they graphically kind of chose what to put on there. I forgot where I was going with this. Oh, Dawn was asking, yeah, do you think Bill has evidence? So I don't think that at this point that Blake Lively has any evidence that she's holding close to her vest, because she is in such a reputational free fall right now, along with Ryan Reynolds, that if she did, we would have seen it by now. What she didn't realize is everything that probably Justin has. And honestly, it's Ryan Reynolds. Let me see a quote. Let me see if I can pull. Hey, Danielle.
And I agree with that. And I don't know. Oh, Vanessa, you're so sweet. You're so sweet. Thank you. You know, I remember this time I was in a situation like this. It was actually, believe it or not, working for a mental health organization. And I was running an equine assisted therapy program. And the lady that was like my direct manager for it, it was just a bomb waiting to go off. Like it was you could see the writings on the wall that one day something was going to happen. And so I kept every text, every piece of communication. I would try to avoid talking in person so I had proof of it. And sure enough, this whole situation blew up one day. There was an investigation into her, and she tried to turn it around on me. And I had like literally a stack like that of proof. And it was the only thing that saved my butt. So I do, like, I can see this perspective of like,
let me see what Danielle's saying. Danielle, the person who dubbed this the big scene, she was right. How crazy is this? Ryan's emotional issues could have easily triggered the demise of his and Blake's careers. Danielle's got it. This is and I've said this from the beginning, and I've said this to every reporter too. And I also tell them.
We won't go too much into that. There's one more spot. I hope I wrote down the timestamp for it. I hope I wrote down the timestamp. It was like over breakfast this morning that I was writing down these timestamps.
Blake doesn't want to show up in public. She doesn't. I saw a clip of her going into, I think, a fashion show, and she just looked tense, and she should look tense when you see your career spiraling, your reputation spiraling like that. So I would be shocked. And the reason why I say no, that she's not going to show up, that there's no way that she's going to show up, it's because of the strategically placed TMZ drop. We had it yesterday and we had it today. And we had it at the end of the week, kind of little.
Okay, this is what I was hoping for, guys. So remember I talked about, so I've been working with brands for a long time, and I'm not a PR specialist. I did more branding archetypes and helping people create brand archetypes to have like a really strong brand. I had said, like, I know you guys are skeptical, and I hear you because TMZ is shady. It's so shady. And I hear you, and I still think it was strategic. And she explains the strategy behind it. And I believe it's right here.
Friday News Dumpy, but just putting it out there. So the Grammys was at the beginning of the week. Now, if Taylor Swift was a Grammy winner, let's say it was a Taylor sweep and everything was about Taylor Swift, she would not have said anything about Blake. There would have been people asking about Blake. She would have walked by, and then all the headlines would have said, Blake, Taylor ignores or blows off Blake. Taylor refuses to talk about Blake. The narrative would have started anyway. So that's what I think they were doing if she won the Grammys, if she was a big winner. She wasn't. So she was just kind of the girl bopping around the audience.
She makes a good point about Jay-Z here too.
Cheers to Jay-Z. Massive misstep by Taylor on that one. That's a weird hill to be on. But Taylor's just bopping around being Taylor. And she was photographed, she's wearing red, of course, and she had her little T charm, a little charm on her leg, T for Travis, maybe T for Taylor. The point is we don't know. And that's exactly the point, because we're supposed to talk about it. And then she has the Super Bowl. So she has Sunday to Sunday, and there's no room for Blake in that Sunday. So I think that was 100% strategic.
Yeah. So what she's saying, and she goes on to explain more throughout the entire episode, it's like an hour and a half on her channel. She's Molly McPherson, is essentially like, you have two plans, right? You have two scenarios. And this is what I hadn't talked about, and I hadn't thought about that piece of the Grammys themselves. But it's like, if she had won, what Molly's saying, if she had won the Grammys, then the news would have taken over for her. Like, people would have asked her about Blake. She would have refused to answer questions. But you are alive. Yay. And but that didn't happen. So she was just kind of like doing her thing, being Taylor, hanging out there. So her team took over the narrative. And that's when they started dropping, because it was like right after the TMZ. Ariana Jacobs. Yeah. Is it Ariana or Ariana? Is someone who is also target. She has some interesting stuff on. I follow her on X, who also targets of the New York. Yeah. Didn't they try to sue her? She described that you notice it when people start acting strangely. That's true too. So he obviously knew. Oh my God, LOL. T for Travis Taylor. I didn't know we were supposed to talk about it. Yeah. Yeah. And I had mentioned it briefly previously, where I said, that's the whole, like, the Easter egg thing and dropping these little hints, and then it takes over the narrative. And then if you looked, I never released that video. It's still on private. Okay. So I did explain it, but then I never released the video. But I explained that like for SEO manipulation and for getting like taking back control on SEO and on Google. So yeah, the T was totally for getting attention and taking back the narrative. All right, this one you guys have sent me as well, and you're like, "Can you play this? Can you play this?" We did play it before, but so many new friends here, so let's play it again. And I guess Popcorn Planet had played this as well, but we did play it earlier in the week. I think it was the same. It's around, I think, the day after Melanie King posted on X, so about a week ago. So you guys have been messaging me like, "Oh my goodness, have you seen that there was like the secret recording and Blake tattles on herself and Taylor?" Yep. So let's watch it, guys. So this is Melanie King. You can check her out on X or on YouTube. She is wonderful.
So I'm not a legal expert, but I think this secret recording of Blake Lively on a press tour of the It Ends With Us movie just threw Taylor Swift under the bus, as well as confirms that Blake Lively does not take no for an answer.
Was it exciting? Did you have to make some calls? There were a lot of calls made for a lot of songs in this movie. Honestly, like this movie, I think that like when you see it, it feels like a big, beautiful summer movie, but like we didn't have any budget. So there were a lot of favors and a lot of begging and release for Taylor. And I mean, honestly, she was with me on this experience the whole time, all throughout it. So like she really lived this with me. Yeah, she was, you know, she's a person who shows up for you, and I'm so grateful to have that love and that support. But yeah, there were other people too that I had to call and beg, and people that said no. I don't know what that means. So if somebody has a dictionary.
So yeah, Taylor was there through the whole process. Read your cards and tell us, are we going to court? We will have to do a full card pull. Let's just pull one card right now. Shuffle. But we'll do a full card pull for it too. I'm trying to keep the cards closer to the end. And I was going to do like just a pull for next week. See what's going on next week. Cards say yes. Going to court. We'll do a full card pull to get the full idea. But at this point in time, High Sage reversed, Six of Wands reversed. It also means success. Especially the Six of Wands was the first one. So I'd say with a quick overlook, we'll look at all the details of it with a full blown card pull. But I would say yes after just that. But yeah, I'm trying because I know a lot of our community isn't so sure about the tarot yet. And that's okay, guys. That's totally cool. We'll keep it at the end. And we'll slowly get you on board with the woo stuff. But yes, so Melanie had called, or she posted that she was on Popcorn Planet, I guess, as well. And looks like Taylor was involved in the whole process, which is interesting because, again, Taylor's been trying to separate herself. And I don't know. It's really interesting to me. I think it's just, you know, damage control at this point, to be honest. Was there anything else? Let me see if there's anything else. Oh, that was one. There's one article I wanted to look at with you guys. Then we'll do Justin's natal chart. I found the wording in this interesting. How people word things in like official documents always interests me. So this is from the 7th, so yesterday. How Taylor Swift tried to tone down Blake Lively years before Justin Baldoni legal nightmare caused a rift. So again, this is going with what Molly McPherson was saying in regards to like this, you know, she believes this is tree pain. And I know sometimes it's really hard to believe that they would go to, this is modern day PR and trying to keep ahead of it. It's sources. You're not going to get, you will not get Taylor Swift to come out and say anything, which is also interesting though. I would respect Taylor more. I'm being honest. I would respect Taylor more. I don't know about you guys. If she came out and was like herself and made a statement and said, I believe my friend. And because I believe my friend, I support my friend. Like, I don't know. It just, if that's your bestie and you just like support your friend, if you support your friend, don't put out these PR pieces and then pretend to support, like not support her. And then maybe they are friends behind the scenes. I don't know, but I would respect someone that comes out when they're friends in like a really tough time like this on either side and say, hey, like I've got this person's back. So the messy spat between Lively and Baldoni has seen her past behavior come under scrutiny as the public casts judgment with each new update. Insiders claim Swift had tried to advise her pal about going full throttle in the years before the saga. Now, this is where we're starting. Taylor Swift admires that Blake Lively is a ballsy chick who speaks her mind, swears like a trooper, and refuses to be controlled by anyone, which is also interesting because Blake said she's not like that. Blake said, no, I'm really shy and I admire Ryan and Taylor because they're like that in the text messages. Taylor had friends stop being around her if Blake was around. Interesting. She was causing problems in her friend group for years. Interesting. That's interesting. Thank you, my friend. It's so nice to see you in the chat as well. Happy Saturday, guys. I was like, we did farm chores in the morning, took the dogs for a long walk. They can't be off leash at the farm. They're two rescues. They'll run away. So we took them for a long walk. And I'm like, I got to go live and talk to everyone. Got to hang out with everyone because that's what lives are here. I've had some people be like, you know, this show's too all over the place. So like, it's not a show. Maybe one day it'll be, maybe one day I'll be official, but this is literally just us hanging out. Right? Like this is, maybe one day I'll be super official, but this is me in my free time between calls and managing a farm animal sanctuary and animals and everything, of just like hanging out with you guys chatting. All right, so that's the real reason they bonded and became firm friends when they first met 10 years ago. They continue. Taylor saw her doppelganger in Blake. The main difference between them is that Taylor is more subtle. Blake has always gone full throttle about everything. She never holds back, and that's what has caused the tide to turn on her. Taylor has tried to help tone Blake down in the past, but now she knows it's never going to happen. They finish right now. They're still close. There's a slight shift because of the it ends with us drama. Taylor doesn't like the fact that she's been dragged into it. But the words that interested me was Taylor's more subtle. That's just an odd, like as someone that has, it is a hangout. Exactly. I told people to hit the road. I was like, if you're allergic to fun and you're allergic to hanging out and just chatting, that's not the place for you. And that's totally cool. There's no hard feelings at all. Can you do a video on Brandon Sklenar? Yes, of course I can. Are you thinking like astrology as well and human design, or just like a deep dive? Ever since the Jenny Slate one, I'm getting a lot of messages for deep dives. I'm like, guys, I do love deep dives. So I'm always happy to do those as well. Okay. But it's just like Taylor is more subtle. That's what just got me a little bit, which kind of like made me raise my eyebrow, where I thought, like, is it just because you put it in songs? You know, poor Joe Alwyn. What happened to him? You know, who was it? Your body is a wonderland. Help me out here. Your body is a wonderland. Ooh. John Mayer, right? Okay, I think that's John Mayer. He came out and he said that, you know, the narrative that was put out wasn't correct. Thank you. Okay, good. I'm glad I was right. You guys got me. Thank you. I'm sorry for your ears bleeding for me trying to sing that line in the song. My husband always jokes that my husky sings with me when I sing, because I sing like a husky. But he's come out. He said that, you know, things weren't exactly as the narrative she put out. Poor Joe Alwyn got just like destroyed online. I feel bad for him. If you guys want, I can do his chart too one day. He's like he's very intuitive. His chart's very open. A lot of possible conditioning. I think, does he have anxiety or something like that? Like it just showed in the chart, like very sensitive, the poet, the hermit type energy in Joe Alwyn's chart. And he just got destroyed, right? So, I mean, just because you're subtle doesn't mean it's necessarily better. Might be better for your brand, but people's lives are still getting destroyed. So I don't know. That just, From Romania, Sasha, hello. Oh my goodness. I'm in Cali, so I could never catch the start of your live streams. Oh, welcome. Oh my goodness. One of my best friends lived in California. She just moved to Hawaii though. I wish I was somewhere warmer. I'm so jealous of everyone that's somewhere warm. Welcome to the chat, guys. It's a great community here. Honestly, when we do live streams, as time allows, I drop you guys pre-recorded content. Just hang out. Like, it's just a time to hang out with friends in the chat. I saw an interview with him 2 weeks ago, and John has to make money now by playing guitar for others. His solo career is gone. Yeah. And Matt Healy, the Swifties, right? Like, there's things that Matt Healy has said that I do not agree with. And now he's called like the smallest man that ever lived and all this stuff. Like, it gets constantly trashed. Although I hear that he's going to take back some of the narrative in his next album. You see people online saying, oh, who's Matt? Like, who's that band? They're no one, they're only someone because of Taylor. It's like, no, like, that's my genre of music. That's what I listen to. I'm like, that's not true. But that's the only thing, guys. That's the only thing that irks me a little bit is, just because you're more subtle in how you take people down, which seems to be how Ryan Reynolds does it in movies, right? And you make fun of people in movies. Maybe Blake went rogue and tried to make it public. I don't know. But you've destroyed people's lives still. And people don't want to come out. 3:40 a.m. in Australia. Oh my goodness. I love Australia. I lived on the Gold Coast for a year. My favorite place in the world. I can't wait either for the new 1975 album from Sweden. Oh my goodness. That is amazing. Welcome. I love the rawness of your content. I'm so glad. That's what it's about here. And, when people give me pushback on it, I'm like, well, it's just not your community. That's totally cool. I have, for so long online tried to be like professional in this and that and show up in a way that I thought like I had to show up so people would take me seriously. And like, I'm just so over it. I'm too old now to care. Too old. Well, that's true too. The niche, yeah, that's true. The genre, the niche for someone like Matt Healy, so different. So different. Agree. I feel like subtle is manipulative for sure. I'm the same way, course correction. I prefer just say it up front. Say it to my face. Mint says, the funny thing about Taylor Swift is that I see myself in the same situation. My friend tells me her narrative, I go too far because I'm an all-in person and then I feel fooled. Interesting. So you can really relate to this. All right, guys, let's flip over to, for those that are still on the fence about hanging out for the astrology content, you can jump ship now. It's okay. I won't be offended. We're going to jump over to Justin Baldoni's chart because I get a lot of requests for different types of things, but this caught my attention. I was like, that is actually a good question. And I want to look at his chart from that perspective. Okay. I'll make myself smaller. Sorry, guys. I have so many. So I do more esoteric astrology. So I have a lot of those points up. So I know it looks really cluttered. Okay. So the question, what was the exact question I got? You guys going to be good? Alaska, you can come in here. Come on in, bud. I'm not lying in bed right now. Maybe after. Okay. So the question, he wants to go lie in bed. Ever since Alaska got home from the hospital, he just wants to lie in bed. He's doing a lot better, but now it's a routine for him. Okay, so the question was around like, sorry guys. Does Justin have some kind of karma around attracting women like this? Because I guess if you look at his past, he talks about a woman in the past that I don't know if he was harassed by, or I haven't looked too much in that story, but issues with a woman in the past. And then, he's attracting women into his life now that are kind of causing more issues for him. And so the question was, is there anything in his natal chart, John Mayer? Thanks, guys. You guys got me. The astrology is the best part. See, you guys are my people. I love it. Oops, I was behind. That's okay. Hello, P. Happy Saturday. if you saw a post last night, but JB, yes, the Gent Talks podcast. I'm so excited. We will be here on Monday because I don't have any scheduled calls in the afternoon. So we will be ready to roll. I got you guys. Okay. So the question was around that. And I thought, you know what? I don't think we've pulled up his chart many times and I've never looked at it from that perspective. So as soon as I got that question, I thought I have to look at this. So I would say one, like just, we're going to break his chart down, but from this question perspective. But when I was looking at his chart from that perspective, there's nothing like blatantly of, yes, he has karma in this life to heal or deal with through attracting women like this or attracting women that are meant to accuse him of certain things. Like there wasn't really anything that specifically, but I think you guys are going to be really interested in this because it's not that type of karma that he has to deal with in this life. It's more soul level growth karma. So his path overall that he's looking at in this lifetime involves evolving into someone who can be deeply spiritual and feel those emotions deeply without being reactive, because his chart is very emotional, which can go, as we've talked about, can have a shadow and it can have an exalted, it can have a higher expression. So someone that can be deeply spiritual without being taken advantage of, without being walked all over. It's like not having to sell your soul, essentially, is the karma that he's going through in this life. And I think there's a bigger, and we're going to look at as we go, but I think there's bigger lessons as well that he's here to kind of impart. But yeah, there's nothing for manipulative women that are like going to try and take down his career or anything. There are some charts that have things like that. I would say his is more spiritual growth overall. If he was a client, I'd say you are more this lifetime, and they're like, what's my karma in this lifetime? What's my life path? Spiritual growth. Like, can you feel your emotions deeply without allowing them to consume you, either for good or evil, right? Like if you, from that perspective, are allowing your emotions, hello, do you want to come up? Good girl. Allowing your emotions to consume you, that can be reactive, where you're taking it out on others. So Gene Keys is kind of another tool I play with. You guys are like, don't tell me one more tool. We're still trying to wrap our head around human design. But you talk about like that can be reactive or repressive. So if you're reacting, you're taking it out on others, those deep emotions, but repressive is like depression and anxiety and, like that mental anguish of holding all of that in. So that's his path in this life. Now let's break it down and I'll show you guys kind of how it shows up here. And then I'll tell you what I think his lesson for the collective is, because I think his role here is a lot bigger than just, for him to deal with. I think there's a lot of lessons that he's meant to bring forward for all of us. So number one, you guys know from being around here and watching the astrology that Chiron and Elgol is a tough energy. There's a lot of people in Hollywood that deal with Chiron and Elgol in tricky spots, which is just interesting as well, but that's for another day. But he has Chiron and Elgol, and in the first house, now he also has Chiron and Elgol square Pluto and the moon. That kind of energy, when we're looking at this, is definitely deep wounds around identity and self-worth, especially how you're perceived as others. And what can that do for him? Well, when we're looking at this, we have Chiron and Elgol that are retrograde. That can really amplify like that internalized anguish and prevent, in many ways, healing that wound. Well, we know that Justin has gone on that journey. He's been healing that wound. He talks very openly about being called into, like, I don't know if he uses the words inner child work. He might have, but inner child healing, spiritual healing. I have no doubt that he's got like crystals in his house and stuff. I don't know. I just feel like it. But he's been on that spiritual journey of healing. So that in and of itself, with that, like, I call it crunchy energy. Because I don't want to be, I would never say to a client, that is bad energy. That's going to be hard AF. It's crunchy energy. It has the potential to be bad. Yeah. But he's gone on that journey to heal. He's gone on that journey to do better for himself. And as you guys know, if you've been here for a while, I always say, what I respect about someone is we're all human. We all make mistakes. We all mess up. We all suck at times. We make missteps. But for someone to be like, I'm going to go on this path, especially with this kind of dynamic. I'm going to go on this path and I'm going to heal. I'm going to go on this path. I'm going to look at these deep wounds I have around identity and self-worth, whether they were like born in the family or not. His fourth house is empty, which is really interesting to me. Maybe not. But there are some deep wounds there. And Elgal, especially Elgal, which is like the blinking demon eye in the first house. This is a strong energy, Elgal. We all deal with Elgal in our chart. Just most people don't pull Elgal up. This can be themes of betrayal and power struggles. Now, Elgal sometimes I associate with the dark feminine type energy. So that like Kali, Hecate, Lilith type energy. So the dark goddess is going to represent the shadows. So could we say that, female figures, he's going to have those betrayals around and power struggles with? We could. But I think overall the life path is like that betrayal. And is he turning it inwards? Is he allowing himself to just go deeper into the wounds, deeper into his pain? Or is he starting to heal that? Overall, he's going to be experiencing in this lifetime betrayal. So it's not necessarily like the evil woman that's accusing him of SH or something or lessons around that, but it's lessons around betrayal. It's lessons around power struggles, first house. Yeah, so I would say that part of his journey, let me just check in on the chat, see how you guys are doing. Part of his journey is healing a lot of that, healing a lot of the wounds around that, healing a lot of the wounds around betrayal. Do I do numerology too? I do, but not usually with clients. No, I'm still like, I feel like in the baby, like I've been studying it for like 5 years, but I feel like I'm still in like the baby stages with it. I'm definitely kind of my feet are firmly in astrology and human design. Loads of people think the dog is Blake. So offensive. From what? Dog is Blake. Oh, are you talking about in the nice pool scene where it's like if you let this little flirt away for 1 second, then she's out looking for a new papa? Can you imagine if my husband like made a movie and then made me the dog? Yes, I do have to keep meaning to watch the proposal video. Maybe that's why JB became sick enough to be hospitalized, because the current situation is outside of his comfort zone. I believe that. Yes, I believe that 100%. And especially if he's such an empath. But yeah, and like all this energy again with Pluto and the moon. Yeah, I feel like this is a lot of powerful, intense relationships that are also transformative for him. Could be with women, the moon, feminine energy. So yeah, I would say overall it's his soul journey more than anything. But yeah, with the moon there, with Pluto, Elgal, Chiron, I would say particularly with women. But again, Ryan's in this mess. So it wouldn't be exclusive to women. But the moon, usually you're going to see that feminine energy within the moon. So yeah, this here as well, especially I want you to think of Plutonian type energy as, again, that dark goddess energy. So we have like this so much tough energy with Elgal, Chiron. The Elgal is just so intense with like, I want you to think of like Elgal as Chiron on steroids. Like, guys, if you're ever thinking, why is there this one area of my life that I just keep getting like pummeled by the universe by? Look for Elgal. A lot of people go for like Chiron or certain like squares or oppositions. Look for Elgal. Number one, you want to look for Elgal and see what is conjunct with Elgal. Don't look at aspects other than conjunctions with Elgal, but see what's there, because that's where you're going to get pummeled. So this energy, it's a tough energy that he's been through. I don't doubt he's had a pretty tough life overall and been through a lot to get where he is. This can be a lot of, especially with Pluto there, and the moon's going to be that subconscious mind, like below the waters. And with Pluto, that dark goddess energy, that's like the underworld, the shadows, right? So it's where you're getting a lot of your shadow work. I also like to relate it to the root chakra, like the basement of our chakra system. So you could get those projections. People are projecting their shadows onto him. So yeah, we could definitely see that and how it's playing out in this whole case is people projecting. I think the biggest thing I've noticed in terms of projections or even just discomfort, if you watch interviews with Blake and she just talks about how uncomfortable she is on with emotions, and she can't deal with emotions basically. So she'll just like tease or make fun of people and make light of situations if she's like uncomfortable because she's uncomfortable with emotions. So yeah, there could have been also that projection field with the moon and Pluto on him where maybe even she felt a little bit uncomfortable and, you know, projects her own issues there. Moon Aquarius, or sorry, Sun Aquarius. Yeah, like I love Aquarius energy. It's so like Pleiadian energy. I know we're getting super woo with that, but like Pleiadian energy. It's like dolphin energy, carefree energy, flowing energy, spiritual energy. Okay, I see. Dog pool. Okay. Hello, welcome to the chat. So nice to see you. So yeah, I could see those projections there as well. But again, this is more of like, for his chart, it's not a specific person that's the problem. Again, it's going to be like, how do you keep your cool? How do you stay grounded in who you are? Not react, not be repressed around it within your emotions, despite this chaos that's going on, despite the hard relationships, despite maybe power struggles, despite people projecting on you. That's more of the theme that we're seeing here. And why that's going to be as well as Pluto's in the mix. It's not a personal planet. In fact, I don't even think we're allowed to say it's a planet anymore. I don't know. It was back when I was a kid. But, you know, it's not personal. It's not close to him. So it's not like one person that's after him. It's just more of this life lesson. How do you stay grounded amongst this, amongst the chaos? How do you stay grounded, Julia, when it feels like things are kind of falling apart? We have Saturn as well, interesting place in the 7th house. Saturn with Mars. Now, Julia. Oh, okay, my husband's home. I'm like, oh, geez, she's going rogue. Then you never know what she's going to get into. So this can be hard relationships as well. Does anyone know much about Justin's past? Does he have a history of a lot of hard relationships? I haven't seen anything in regards to his family. But that can be a lot of hard relationships as well. See, I like doing the first pass with you guys because then you see my honest, like how my brain works and starting to pull it apart. But yeah, a lot of effort in relationships. Saturn, I like to look at, especially from a human design perspective, is Saturn leaves you alone unless you're off track. But Saturn's also like, oh, thank you. Saturn can be a really tough energy, right? Go see your dad. Go see your dad. Saturn can be a really tough energy. It can kind of kick your ass sometimes. So that is, you know, a lot of, again, power struggles, control struggles, intensity. There might have been a lot of intensity in relationships before he went on that healing journey. Elgal Chiron in the 1st house, really seeing his self-worth, working on his self-worth, a lot of wounds around self-worth. Before he really worked on that, there could have been a lot of relationships that he was in where power dynamics were at play, or where he even felt like he kind of had to, like, you know, maybe he was reacting again, or repressive, like reacting, and maybe he feels shame with that placement, especially with Pluto and the moon. Maybe he feels shame about some interactions he's had in the past. Maybe he feels guilt, and that's what put him on this path. Or again, there's a possibility for like putting it inside too, which is not healthy. The book, The Body Keeps Score, for anyone that wants to know about like the damage that maintaining stress in the body and emotions in the body does. The Body Keeps Score is a fantastic book. Gratitude always brings me back to grounding. Yes, great point. It's, you know, it's so thank you for mentioning that too. It's so easy. So positive psychology is something I've studied as well when I was more in like the mental health field. And it's one of the practices within positive psychology. And it seems so simple, but it's so powerful. He's a very loving family. His wife was the catalyst for his positive changes. That's amazing. He was essayed by a woman in college. Okay, so that's where it's coming from. Wow. His wife seems like a pillar. Okay. Interesting. So I didn't know that. That's wild. And brave to like talk about that stuff publicly too, because, well, the internet. So yeah, potential for a lot of difficult relationships, but it's also really transformative energy too. Because, you know, one of the things is, I think especially in the spiritual world, a lot of people try to, you know, go on their spiritual path to avoid having struggles or avoid having limitations or avoid having these like hard times happen. But it's like those hard times that you've been through with that Saturn there, Mercury, Pluto, the moon, Elgol, Chiron, is like that's made you into who you are. Right. So it's not about now avoiding those situations or thinking that, well, because I'm on the spiritual path now, you know, Ra Uru, who created human design, used to say, it's not about like being a monk on a hill, right? Like there's no place where you're just like a monk on a hill. And because you've learned these things that like you're perfect now, this is about like the continued journey that he's actually meant to be on in this life. And actually, let me just double check. I can't remember his human design profile off the top of my head because I just realized I was talking about projections. And I think he has, is it a 2-3-5? Oh, well, yeah, he's a 3-5. So when I talk about like, this is a lifelong journey for him, that 3 in the front of his human design profile is trial and error for life. And the 5 is projections. So also makes sense. Also makes sense from a human design perspective. I worked with Justin on Jane the Virgin a few times. Justin was nice. Oh, thank you for sharing that. It was so nice to have you on live, Rose. I hope you have a fantastic weekend. His wife seems to be so lovely. She does seem to be absolutely lovely. I'm glad that he has that rock for him, especially as he goes through all of this. And sometimes we all need that one person that's that catalyst for us to change our lives as well. But yeah, I would say, again, even here, Saturn, karmic lessons around power struggles and control. Now, the interesting thing that I, you know, think back and look just here with his chart, because it's reminding me of so much in his human design chart, is the channel of struggle. And this is why I love looking at human design and astrology together, because with the channel of struggle, part of his lesson here, if we look at from a very practical perspective from human design, is, well, what he's learning about his entire life is what's worth fighting for. You know, he could have just been like, whatever, take the movie, take the sequel. I don't even care. It's not worth fighting for. Or, hi, sweetheart, do you have a hat? Or, come here, Jules. Come here. Go on, go play over there. I can't play right now. I'll play in a bit. You know, he could have said, you know what, from everything I've learned in my life, from everything I've been through in my life, from all of these experiences, from all this crunchy energy, it's transformed me into the person I am now. And I'm staying firm on this because I believe in this. And so his channel of struggle in human design is also a strength of his. So that's why I love how it complements each other. That's why I created Astro Design, because I actually have a workshop on, I think it's the 19th and 20th. It's pay what you can. Do I have it on my website? I don't know. I don't know if it's listed on my website. But I have the link on Instagram, on my Instagram account, because it gives us more context to this. Because this energy here overall kind of looks like tough energy. But then when we combine it and contrast it to human design, we see, well, actually, all of this in astrology has set him up to know what's worth fighting for. And with him as a 3-5 profile, it's not going to, like, it's not an easy path. I work with a lot of third lines, and it's not an easy path because it's constant trial and error. And it's constantly kind of being, and I can pull over his human design quick for those that are newer to the channel. And you're like, the what? The what design? What are you talking about? But yeah, I would say overall his chart, just looking at a quick pass, it's a lot of lessons about power. His trial and error from human design perspective is about power, what's worth fighting for, going into like the depths and uncovering the emotions that are there, starting to process the emotions that are there. Wait, is his Venus? Where is his Venus? Yeah. Yeah, I would say overall, this path is more one, like the potential to be emotionally like intense. But I always, you know, joke that that's usually what leads people. Well, when I was in psychology, I used to always say that like our own problems is what interests us in getting into psychology and interest in like helping others with their mental health, because we've had struggles, we've had trauma, we've had issues we've grown up with or dealt with. So that kind of puts you on the road to psychology. And it's kind of the same for spirituality, right? So yeah, there's a lot of emotionally intense energy, Moon, Pluto. The sun, though, I love the sun energy there. It's just like, it's spiritual. It's like dolphin energy. I don't know. I just see like dolphins in my head, right? And so this is like it's a tough energy that he has. But it's a transformative energy. I really like Pluto a lot. And I know a lot of people don't because it can be such a hard energy. But I love Pluto, because it's that dark goddess. You need to be willing, and kind of like if he had come to me pre-spiritual awakening with especially all this energy here and Chiron and Elgal, I would have said, and Poseidon's in the mix as well. Libra, but still Poseidon's in the mix as well. You need to be willing to go into the shadows. You need to be willing to go into the shadows. Pluto's got your back. Pluto's got your back there. I love Plutonian energy. That can be 6th house dramatic changes to health if you're out of alignment. But you've got to reconnect with you. You've got to heal that mind body. You've got to ground into your power. And how are you going to do that? You're going to do that by being willing, Chiron and Elgal, to look at that self-worth and to heal it, to heal the wounds that are there. No matter how deep they are, heal the wounds that are there. And this is big mind-body connection, especially with Poseidon in the mix. It's a spiritual path. It's a spiritual path. And actually, Pluto square the sun. Yeah. Early life experiences that were hard. But you've got this amazing personality. You're on the right path. You're good at rising to the challenge. You're good at figuring it out. You're a 3rd line in human design. You're here for that trial and error experience. So how can we reframe it? How can we reframe it as like lessons and wisdom along the path, rather than constantly being beaten down, rather than overreacting or repressing your emotions? How can we look at it as this is another little golden nugget, another little breadcrumb on your path to help you transform these wounds into wisdom and help others? That's what it's about. So yeah, I would say overall, sextile Venus. I imagine he's a great partner as well. Like super Venus, sextile Pluto, super committed to his wife. So I like the reports that go around and they're like, oh, I think they cheated together. I would not say so. Like, I mean, it's possible for people to do whatever they want, free will and all, but that's like a really intense Pluto Venus, really intense relationship with the wife, like really grounded, strong, committed, like intensity, but the good kind of intensity, like the intensity for like the values are the home kind of intensity, super committed. But yeah, that's what I would say to him. And then I would pull up the human design. Let me just see. Yeah. It's a lot of energy. It's a lot of tough energy. And then you add the 3-5 human design profile. And it's he was essayed again based on the messages from the lawsuit. I'm gonna have to go back. Oh my goodness. So yeah, it doesn't surprise me then that you guys are, I'm glad I waited to read this until after I had done that. Doesn't surprise me then, because this is like a lot of, and even SA, that's power dynamics. Wow. The audacity. Did you guys see the video of him cutting his hair for cancer? And they had the audacity to make fun of him for it? I agree. No way. When he was 20. Jeez. My moon is in Aquarius. It impacts the way I think and want to connect. I love Aquarius energy. It's, again, this is going to be super woo, so I might lose people here, but very like Pleiadian energy, like I'm totally going to lose some people here, but Pleiadian starseed type energy. I love it. Like, he's just like, I'll do a different stream on that. I'll look at his galactic astrology points on a different stream, because people are going to be like, WTF? What are you talking about? Everything he did is going viral, and it should. Because the audacity of people, but that's what people do. I guess evil people, pull others down. But okay, so one other thing I want to say about his chart is I don't feel that, and does he have a lot of, so empowerment and support are his themes. For me, and with his chart, and especially with his human design as a fifth line, he with the fifth line, it's like a stranger of consequence. It's you do better with strangers, so it's like a bigger impact, because it's not necessarily that you're not supposed to have close relationships, but you just have a big impact on strangers. Like you can go viral having an impact on strangers. So when I even look at and combine his human design with astrology, and for those that are new to human design, I'll flip over in a second. I would say that this karma that he's here to live out with this, of this, like, how do you maintain the sun in Aquarius, that bright personality, the spiritual calling, your path, your truth, despite these hard times and maybe feeling, because of these experiences, low self-worth? And how do you overcome, like, it's tough energy here, but it's meant to transform him. It's meant to put him on the right path. And for me, this karma isn't necessarily personal. For me, his soul contract that he signed was like, you're going to learn how to navigate power. You're going to learn how to navigate emotional depth. It's not always going to be easy. But your goal in this life is to figure out spiritual authenticity and be grounded in who you are. And this life is where you are going to be actively and consistently tested in that. Within that, though, so that's very personal, I also feel, based on his chart and his human design, especially the fifth line, it's not just personal, it's also collective. And it's almost this calling for everyone is like, how do we all maintain our heart? Well, actually, Gene Keys, Richard Rudd talks about that. The whole point of Gene Keys is living with an open heart. How do you maintain an open heart despite being hurt, despite power struggles, despite manipulation, despite people trying to take you down, despite all those SA situations? How do you continue to live with an open heart? And I think that's the bigger question that we're all called into, which is really interesting now that I think about it, because Gene Keys with Richard Rudd, I'm completely lost, but enjoying the learning opportunity. Super. Oh, thank you, Moon. I'm so glad. It's totally okay. Everyone here with, especially the human, not everyone, I don't think, but I think the majority of the community here was originally lost with the human design. Everyone's slowly picking up the little nuggets. So you're not alone. But everyone's starting to get really excited about learning their human design as well. So it's kind of like a community, spiritual awakening process going down in the process of this trial. P says, I may be atheist, but I'm also a little woo-woo. I love it. Fact is, even though people claim to want and give kindness, I see a lot of people admiring and wanting to emulate cruelty because it feels like strength. I agree. I'm still lost, but I'm figuring this out. I love it. It's like learning a new language, right? You're just being immersed in it. So eventually it's just going to become like that. But yeah, for me, it's this question, this broader question, my friends, and we're getting kind of existential here now, but I think, we lost everyone at this point. I would think that is not spiritual. Probably lost them at Palladian, but it's all of us. And I impart this question on each of you as you go through your weekend of how do you live? And there's no right answer. It is a very spiritual question. How do you live life with an open heart despite people trying to take you down? How do you maintain that bright personality, kind of that like dolphin energy, jumping in the waves and playing despite all these tough circumstances that you've been through, people taking advantage of you, people literally or figuratively, power dynamics and control, manipulation? How do you continue to live with an open heart? Because that's the question, right? I think that's the question he's really going to go through right now, is not losing his beliefs amongst all of this, because obviously Blake Lively has challenged probably a lot of what his brand, and I truly believe his brand is built on who he legitimately is, what his brand's been built on. I agree. He's a unicorn. I think anyone, like each of you that's going on the spiritual awakening journey in life, is a unicorn. That's not normal, right? Like it takes a lot of strength for anyone to go on that spiritual awakening journey, because it's different. It's easier to hate and just judge and leave nasty comments and tear others down and be manipulative and judgmental and all this stuff. Like, it's easier. It's harder to be like, you know what? I'm going to go on a spiritual awakening journey and I'm going to work on my shadows and work on the stuff there and actively work to be a better person. So I think anyone that's drawn to like astrology, tarot, human design, inner child work, all of that, give yourself a pat on the back, guys, because you are each the unicorns. Because it seems normal sometimes when we surround ourselves with people that are also doing it, but it's not normal. Monica, hello. It takes strength to be kind, compassionate, and open. It does. A nice pool and dog pool scene speak to Ryan Reynolds' weakness and his resentment and inability to grasp Justin's strength. Ryan Reynolds told on himself. I agree. It's a lot easier to be nasty and lash out. It's much easier. It's much harder, especially in the face of cruelty, to maintain your grounding. Hey, Stephanie, it's so nice to see you live. Oh my goodness, it's so nice to see you. There we go. We got the star seeds in the chat. I love it. I love it. Absolutely. Yes, hit the like button, guys. Subscribe if you enjoy this, even if you're like, I have no idea what you're talking about, but it's pretty cool nonetheless. Let's pull up briefly his human design chart, and then we'll do a quick card pull just to see what's going on for the week ahead, what we can expect from the week ahead. All righty. So when we're looking at the human design chart, just to give you guys some context, anything in red is 88 days before your birth, and anything is in black is from your moment of birth. And essentially all we're looking at with human design is your astrological imprint creating what's called a body graph. Now, I don't want to get you guys too confused, but it does include other things like the chakra system. So the centers, all these geometric shapes you're seeing are the centers. Anything that's colored in is an inherent strength you have. Anything that's white is openness. So that's where you take in energy and amplify it. So it's also where you're susceptible to conditioning. So you can see like he has a lot of white in his chart, a lot of potential for conditioning, where that might be like, you know, for example, he's ADHD with an open solar plexus. This is the solar plexus here. You know, the open solar plexus shadow is being, you know, walking on eggshells, afraid to trigger other people, not wanting to hurt other people. It's like a highly empathetic, sensitive center when it's completely open. You're open to all of the emotions coming in from around you. It just gives us a deeper understanding of him. And so when we look at his chart, anything white's going to be, or even your chart, anything white is where you take in energy around you and you become wise on it, or you absorb it. And anything that's colored in is a strength. So just the two pieces I want to mention for him is his profile. So a profile is also called your public role. With your public role or profile, it's essentially how people are meant to see you, or how people see you before you even open your mouth, because, you know, as the saying goes, energy speaks before you do. But it's also kind of the costume you wear in life, if you will. So the idea of that is like, this is the role you're meant to play out. So his role and how he lives his purpose is trial and error, mainly. It's mainly going to be trial and error. And then on the other side, so you see the 3, a line, and then the 5. The 5 is going to be like the savior or the guru, but people project a lot on the 5 line. They project a lot. It's a very magnetic energy. It's someone that you project like, you have the solution, or you'd be good at this. Like, can you help me with this? And if someone doesn't have very firm boundaries with that 5, you end up sucked into everyone else's problems. And then when things don't go how you want, or how that person wants them to go, people blame you. And so this is also his 3-5 profile, why it was so easy for people to turn on him right away, because with that 5th line here, unfortunately, if you don't live up to people's projections of you, they can't wait to tear you down. But when then people saw all this stuff of him going viral, and they're like, oh, he's like cutting his hair for cancer, and look at all this stuff. Like, he actually seems to be trying to be a better man and live up to his brand and live up to what he's saying. People were like, oh, okay. And they were back on his side. Ryan Reynolds is a 5th line as well. So that is an issue for him because, well, now people are having just a field day tearing down Ryan Reynolds. Ryan despises Justin because Justin is everything he himself would like to be deep down but can't. I would agree. My daughter is an Aquarius and I'm a Gemini. I love that. Years before she was even conceived, I said I wanted an Aquarian baby because I've always been drawn to spirituality. Oh, I love that. I love Aquarian energy. Oh, I love that. Lady C is awesome. She is awesome. She's a hoot. Wish more people understood him. We became too numb and cynical. I agree. So that's kind of like a glimpse. Now, when we look at the third line, that's trial and error for life. And he also has an incarnation cross. Incarnation cross is basically your purpose in this life. And it's to deal with, very simply, without going into the whole thing, he has a life that's unexpected. Unexpected things happen. But those unexpected things happen so that he can lead us, the fifth line, so that he can impart that wisdom on other people, so that he can share his experiences of 38 to 28, what's worth fighting for. So those experiences, it's, yes, they're bad. Yes, they're horrible, but it is also part of his karma to go through those experiences, to go through those unexpected experiences, some bad, right? Some good, but some bad. Because that's how he's going to gain that wisdom and really lead people forward. And I think that's what he's really been doing with his brand and the Man Enough and the podcast and the book and the TED Talks and all of that. And I really hope that, and I believe that he'll be fine on the back end of this. I think he's got the public support where things will be okay. I don't know how he's emotionally dealing with all this, though, if I'm being honest. I would not be able to deal with it. All right, let's pull some cards to see. I'm almost an Aquarius. Oh my goodness. That for whatever reason, because I think it's a line in Buffy close to that, made me remember that Buffy, Sarah Michelle Gellar is potentially bringing Buffy back, which is so cool. That might age me a lot by being excited about a revamp of Buffy with Sarah Michelle Gellar, but like, so excited. Yeah, he's dealing with a range of emotions. I can't even imagine. I can't. I wouldn't be able to mentally deal with it. Yeah, I do think that's his karma. I agree. I think this is his karma. And help shift narrative. Some people are never going to change, and that's just the reality of it. I think some people will always be judgmental towards someone like him that's spiritual and in touch with his emotions and going on the healing journey. I think there's always going to be, some people are just not good people. And that's their path too. Right? At the end of the day, they're choosing that path where they're just not going to heal. Let's pull some cards. So this will just be in general, what to expect from them, the whole Justin Baldoni, Blake Lively situation this coming week. Let's split them up. All right. Let's see what we got. Interesting. I know these. I just love these cards too much to not use them. Six of Swords. Interesting as the first card to pull. What's next? Five of Cups reversed. All right. So this energy to start the week, Five of Cups reversed and Six of Swords for Justin and Blake. It's just a general pull. What can we expect? I mean, we were all expecting, apparently we were told Friday we would get the amended lawsuit. There was a lot of chatter coming out about Jenny Slate being involved. So what can we expect? Six of Swords, Five of Cups. Is this like one leaving a certain transit or a certain period behind? Conqueror of Coins. I think we should expect to see for Justin, or no, actually, let's start with Blake first. A change in PR strategy this coming week. I would say like she's left the old strategy behind like trying to de-escalate the drama, I would say would be the energy here. And especially with the Six of Swords, it's like transitioning into a new phase. There's something, stay eagle-eyed. It might be referring to also Justin's podcast coming out because it's like PR moves here. But stay eagle-eyed. Watch, guys. Keep your eye out. Who's talking where? I think we're going to get some more sources out in the coming week. There's going to be some carefully crafted PR moves coming out. I almost get the feeling I don't know. There's just a feeling around the amended lawsuit. And I don't know why. I think, okay, so this is, I'll just tell you guys the feeling I'm getting. So if I was pulling these cards by myself, this would be going through my head. I'd be like, I do think that the lawsuit was meant to be dropped on Friday, but they're like, we can't drop it right now. Like we have to be more strategic about this. That's the energy I'm getting. And I do wonder, because if Justin had recorded that podcast in November, like some people are saying, because again, keep in mind, PR, strategic PR. I do wonder if they know she's going to try and pull something. So they're getting the podcast out there. It's just a feeling. Oh, Amber, thank you so much. Oh my goodness. It's so nice to see you in the chat. Whenever I see you guys talk, especially leave comments on replays, I always can't wait to meet you guys in the chat because it just feels like a bunch of friends hanging out and it makes me so happy to meet you guys. It's my pleasure, honestly. I just love hanging out with you guys. I'm a manifestor with a 5-1 profile and happen to be a Virgo. That is intense energy. I love manifestor fifth lines. It's a gritty energy, but such a powerful energy. My clients that are manifestors fifth line, they always say, like, some people just don't know how to handle me. It's definitely an intense energy, but one of my favorites. I love that energy. And my clients can vouch that I'm not just saying that because I've said it for about 5 years now. It's one of my favorite energies because it's just so gritty. So good. Conqueror of Coins. Yeah, guys. I don't know. I think something's coming, but I think they're holding off on the lawsuit because of it. Like, this is strategy. And from the perspective, when we're pulling it in terms of Justin and Blake, like, this is PR strategy. Something has shifted in the energy. Something shifted. Maybe Blake hired a new PR team. Maybe Blake's hired a new PR team because her PR team is like, I don't know. I can't imagine how much they make, but they have just like, I've seen people say that they keep pulling the pin on grenades and throwing the pin. I don't know who said that. I wish I could give credit. And if someone knows who originally said that, let me know because I want to give credit to them. I like giving credit where credit's due, but that's not my original words, but her PR team keeps doing that. But it seems like there's a shift in the tides for PR. I would say just be on point, because especially, and what we want to keep in mind too, is Taylor's at the Super Bowl. People are going to be talking. She's not, like, Blake's not there. I will drop over, fall over, pass out if she shows up at the Super Bowl, Blake. But people are going to be talking. So I think her team's like trying to be a little bit more strategic about how they approach this time. It's not like a good time for Blake to honestly drop the lawsuit with the Super Bowl on the weekend. So 8 of Coins reversed. Yeah, something wasn't being executed well. And so they're change of strategy. They're trying to fix something. What? I can't put my finger on. But they're trying to fix something. Conqueror of Cups. Yeah. Softer approach. Oh my God. Can you imagine if they come out with, like, Blake's, now on the spiritual path or going on her healing journey? This is like okay, guys. We've all got to watch PR and what's going down the next week, because this is all like, shit wasn't working. So we're changing it up with a softer image. I don't know how you fix her image. It's funny because Molly McPherson that we watched, the PR specialist, it's actually funny now I think about it because she had mentioned, she said, I think the only way Blake can save her career is a rebrand with like, she didn't use those exact words of softer image, but she said with a rebrand with a softer image. She also did say that divorcing Ryan would help her brand out. Then she could sell a book. I don't think that's coming though. I mean, I could be wrong. Seeker of Wands. So we've pulled this card multiple times as someone that is supporting Justin and helping Justin. And the next card's Chariot. Oh, next card's Hermit. So Hermit's always been Justin. Right before, so if you guys saw the old episode, we did, I think it was live. Yeah, it would have been live because mostly I just hang out with you guys live now. But that morning, I think it was 2 hours before the new lawsuit dropped against Blake, we pulled these two cards. And we had said that someone's coming out in the Chariot in support of Justin against Blake. And then 2 hours later, the new lawsuit dropped. Now, that could be, you could maybe argue that it's the interview that's coming out on Monday at 2 p.m. Eastern. Is it Gent Talks, I think? You could argue maybe that's it. They're supporting him. Could argue that's it, but I think there's going to be something else. Because I don't think the cards would tell me something that we already know. But last time we pulled those two, it was someone that dropped Humat. Maybe it's Colleen Hoover's lawsuit. What do you guys think? What do you guys think? Look at the next card. Look at all the flowers on it. Sovereign of Coins. Interesting. I don't know. I find it hard to believe she'd come out just yet. But Blakey's damage control. I can't get a sense of that the new lawsuit will come out, but they're trying to do damage control first. They're more strategic now. The softer image. And then someone for Justin. I don't want to commit to Colleen this week. I have said that I believe Colleen is going to file a lawsuit against Blake and Ryan. I don't feel it's this week. It might just be the website or the podcast. Abundance. Yeah. I don't know. Money's involved for that person. Not being paid off money. Maybe it is Colleen. Maybe it is Colleen. I don't know. The more cards I pull, I'm like, I don't know. It does feel like Colleen. Her side said by Valentine's. She would do it on Valentine's Day. That wouldn't be a softer image. That'd be the opposite. That'd be the opposite. I'm a Virgo also. Amazing. Lots of Virgo energy here. I love it. I tend to attract a lot of that like gritty energy. I love it. Actually, that is a good perspective. Justin is Blake's karma. I like that. His karma is the spiritual awakening journey. Hers is him. Yeah. Her chance to change, but yeah, ... Happy Saturday. Oh my goodness. It's so nice to see you here. You're so late. That's okay. This was like totally impromptu. The Tower. The Anchor. The Fool. Do you guys think it's Colleen? She was played as the Fool. It all came tumbling down with the Tower. anchor. Oh. I will fall over if it's actually her. Hello, happy Saturday. It's so nice to see you. Your first comment. Welcome to the family. It's a big family, especially when we live stream. We just all hang out. Honestly, I always want the vibe on live streams. If I want to be more polished and scripted, I will give you guys pre-recorded content as my schedule allows. Live streams, I just want it to be a big hangout. So make yourself at home. You'll get to know everyone's names. Everyone supports everyone here. Everyone's so good. That would be the biggest news ever for Blake. I don't know, guys. I'm still hesitant to say it because I just find it hard to believe she might show up just to save face. That's true. Yeah, Taylor's is private. Yeah. I find it hard to believe Colleen would come out with her lawsuit. I have pulled cards. There was that blind item that came out that Colleen is planning on suing them. I think Lady C had alluded to it as well. What did she say? I don't think I have that up anymore. Let's pull it up again. I just can't see it being this early in the game. I just don't see it right now. But someone that's involved from a money perspective, and it's going to be good for Justin, the hanged one. That's always been him. The hermit and the hanged one have always represented Justin. I don't know. I will fall over if she comes forward already with a... Okay. Yeah, it doesn't look like Lady C had said for sure a lawsuit. But she did say what a lot of people have said, that Lively had kind of pulled Hoover over to her side. They were going to produce a sequel themselves, which I think everyone caught on to at this point. Like, that's no big secret. And then she set up the Heartbones Entertainment. Yeah, interesting. I don't know. I'm hesitant to say, but I might eat my words in regards to that if the Colleen Hoover lawsuit drops this week. But I just feel like not yet. But someone's coming out. And so, like, and again, it could be, we'll see what the podcast says, but the Chariot and Seeker of Wands have always been pulled in regards to this whole case when someone's coming out to support Justin. But it might just be the podcast, but I have a feeling it's something else. Blake's on damage control with her reputation. Someone with flowers, holding flowers. I'm big on imagery as much as anything else. Holding flowers is supporting Justin because the tower came down. That would be wild. That would be absolutely wild. Yeah, there will be a paper trail with Colleen. Good point. And what would Colleen say? That she was greedy and was all convenient to side with the couple. Yeah. Yeah, she might have evidence. You know what? Like, here's the thing. She might have evidence. Because I didn't. That seems to be what Lady C is saying too. That, like, conveniently, she just didn't, like, look into it. Yeah, possibly conveniently chose to believe Lively never checked with Baldoni, saw dollar signs. So she might just, her whole defense in this just might be like what? Like, she told me all of this. Like, I want to believe women. I want to believe Blake. So cast members' flowers could be a cast member that comes out. That's a good point. So Justin takes CYA to a whole other level. I will now forever have things in writing. Yeah, seriously. Cover your butt. Colleen still supports Blake. It's interesting because the blinds are saying no. Now, blind items aren't always right? Take them with a grain of salt. Like, sometimes they're not right. But the blind items are saying she's suing them. The latest blinds for Colleen say that she's suing them. Oh, I just pulled justice as we said that. I think some people will be more willing to cover their butt than hold allegiances. Did an interview with Colleen basically said that if Colleen had her rights, she would follow her anywhere. Yep. Colleen abandoning him after being close for more than 4 years was heartbreaking. That would be heartbreaking. And I saw an interview where she said that he wanted to play Ryle or something, when we have like proof that that's not the case. Oh, one of you guys had also sent, one of the community members had also sent me this. Let me see if I can pull it up. Now, I don't know the date this was from, but one of the community members here had sent this to me over on Instagram and said, like, doesn't it kind of ring true with the no more, no more, no more? And it, or like, rings similar. And it did for me. So Colleen Hoover had apparently posted this in a private Facebook group. And again, I don't know when the date on this. It just says 2 days ago, but that's only when it was screenshot. Because most of you have been with me during my entire 14-year publishing journey, I owe you some promises for our future together. I promise that I can sleep at night with a peaceful heart. Ugh. I promise I'm okay. I promise I'm happy. I promise my 2-person staff of over 10 years still work for me. They would fire me before I fired them. I promise I'm just rotting at home doing my favorite things, watching Bravo with a Diet Pepsi at my side and melted chocolate somewhere in my bra. Okay, I can kind of relate to that piece. Other than the Bravo, I don't think I've ever watched Bravo. I'm sorry, guys. You guys will never see like news around like Bravo here because I don't watch it. I promise I will continue to try and be present here as much as possible, but I honestly don't have social media on my phone at all anymore. Okay, so this is probably recently. Oh, she posted it January 30th. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Okay, so this is January 30th. I promise I'll continue to try and be present here as much as possible, but I honestly don't have social media on my phone at all anymore, and I promise it's bliss. So kindly don't come back and read this promise too many times. I promise that as long as I still have readers who want to read what I write and readers who want to see film adaptations, that if I have fingers that can type, I will still be trying. Maybe at the speed of a turtle, but I will still be trying. I promise to host more giveaways, and I promise to close them out in a timely manner with a winky face. I promise people who care more about the number of clicks on their videos than the mental health of the people that are making videos about. I promise that your kind messages are helpful. I feel like I promise people care more about the number of clicks on their videos. I was pro Blake in the beginning. Well, I was very neutral, not necessarily pro Blake. I was very neutral in the beginning. And for me, like, I do my best to like also keep in mind that's people behind the scenes. And, you know, there's been many times where I've talked about, like, I genuinely feel bad for Blake. And it doesn't seem like Colleen or Blake or Ryan gave a shit about Justin Baldoni's mental health. So it sucks when shit gets said about you, but maybe don't be a horrible person to someone. Like, I don't know. Like, that just doesn't, I get it. And at the same time, I'm like, well, if you guys didn't do this horrible stuff to him, no one would have anything to say. Did anyone care about his mental health when he was put into the basement? Did anyone care about his mental health when he was in the hospital with a spine infection? Did anyone care about his mental health when Blake dropped the complaint to the New York Times and they removed the paywall, put it as a PDF document to download? And what I saw yesterday by a lawyer was that she didn't even need to do that whole complaint. She just needed to sign, like, she had needed to file the complaint, but she didn't need a book with text messages, and it would have been private. So, you know, I get it. And Blake wanted clicks. Blake wanted people talking about the complaint. Blake wanted people spreading it, because if she didn't, there would have been a paywall still, and it would have never been released in the New York Times. So I get it. And I have compassion for that. And don't try to take people down, and don't do shady shit. And then the internet won't have anything to say about it. The internet's always going to have something to say, but it's not going to get clicks because no one's going to care. I promise that your kind messages are helping. And I promise I also have the familial support system everyone on this earth deserves to have. And finally, I promise to myself that I will let them. I will let them what? I will let them what? Oh, just let people support her. I was like, ... What are you going to let them do, Colleen? But just letting people support her. All right. I got a little too excited there. Yeah, I think, at the end of the day, I've struggled with this because I do have compassion for people. Like, it sucks, but don't be a horrible person. Don't try to take people down. Don't manipulate people and lie and turn your back on someone that was your partner in business for 4 or 5 years to support Blake. And then you and your little cool kids do what you did with the complaint to the New York Times. Like, this mentality, it's the victim mentality, and I can't handle it. It's okay if it's happening to other people, just don't turn it on me. It's not my fault. And I do have compassion for her, but at the same time, it's like, y'all brought this on yourself. No one, like, the clicks people would be getting otherwise for talking about Colleen Hoover would have been about It Starts With Us or whatever the sequel is coming out. And people being excited about that. Oh, thank you so much. I promise that Colleen will do whatever is best for Colleen. That is true. And thank you so much, guys. And I actually wanted to thank you for supporting the channel. If you're new here, like and subscribe, guys. I just started the channel over and I can't believe how much it's grown. It's all because of you guys. I was telling everyone yesterday that I always want to talk about stuff like this, but I thought no one cared about like astrology and pop culture. So it's pretty cool that it's such an amazing community that's growing here. And tomorrow I'm going to take a video. My husband and I are going to go around and introduce you guys to the farm animal sanctuary, the rescue animals we have at our house. So you guys can see, like, you're not just supporting the channel, but you're supporting these animals that we rescue too. Mel S, it's so nice to see you here. 100% agree on your rant. Colleen didn't you think of Justin's children while you were ganging up with the mean girls? Yeah. Did they not think of that over Christmas? The mental health for the family, for his wife over Christmas, of his team, of serving him in the middle of wildfires. So I truly do, guys. I have so much compassion. And I know I get criticized sometimes for that. Like, don't. They're assholes. Like, don't have compassion. I do have so much compassion I don't like seeing anyone kind of dogpiled on. And at the same time, I'm always going to be the person that wants to be on the side of truth and wants to be the side of like supporting people that are being bullied at the end of the day. And I just don't see how it's fair for her and Blake to be like, it's okay for us to do this, right? Like, Blake was all okay. And it's like, she can release that stuff. So I'm going to try and find the lawyer that was talking about this, but apparently, actually, I might have it up. I think I actually have it up. It was on X. Let me pull it up. I surprise my ADHD surprises me sometimes. My 7,000 tabs work in our favor. This is where I saw it. And keeping in mind, she also didn't have to release it to the New York Times. So the Spiritual Shift says, who is a lawyer, Blake Lively's PR stunt backfires, leaked complaint, media smear, and a lawsuit she never planned to file. Blake Lively only filed her official lawsuit after Justin Baldoni sued the New York Times and exposed her. At that point, she had no choice but to move forward with her case. Initially, she merely filled out the California Civil Rights Department, CRD, right to sue form online, unnecessarily attaching her draft complaint, which she then leaked to the media. This was a private submission, a preliminary step, not an actual lawsuit. If Blake truly had a strong case, she could have completed the right to sue request in minutes and immediately filed an official lawsuit in California. Instead, she fed the draft complaint to the press, using it as a weapon to destroy Justin's reputation and boost her own. She assumed he wouldn't fight back. After all, during filming, she had completely steamrolled him. As a vocal advocate for women, Justin was the perfect target. She likely believed he wouldn't dare challenge her publicly. Fearing backlash from the Me Too movement, negative media coverage, Hollywood's reaction, public scrutiny, and an A-list status with husband Ryan Reynolds and their influence. Then when she finally did file a lawsuit, it wasn't even in California, and she didn't include, was it Jed Wallace? She dropped Jed Wallace from it, which was the whole astroturfing complaint. Apparently Jed Wallace was the one that astroturfed, but he was completely dropped from it. So if it was her plan all along to sue in federal court, there was absolutely no need for her to obtain a state CRD right to sue letter in the first place. This was nothing more than a calculated PR stunt that backfired spectacularly. Now she's left dealing with the consequences of her own failed smear campaign. Now, I'm not a lawyer. I'm going to take that person's word for it. But if that's true, and either way, even if devil's advocate, she did have to file all those documents with the CRD complaint, she didn't have to leak them to the New York Times. And the New York Times didn't have to take away the paywall and make it so that anyone could access it. Those were all choices. The audacity of Colleen, by the way. Yeah. Aren't you grateful someone gave a shit about your mediocre book and turned it into a movie? Hard work of 5 years, all that time. And he was so passionate about her work. Thank you so much, guys. I appreciate you so much and being here. Honestly, like, it just feels like hanging out with a bunch of friends, talking about stuff. Like, my friends locally are my chicken friends. We talk about chickens. I don't have anyone to talk about this with. I do now. She knew him more than her. At least she could do is ask for his side of things. Yep. Yeah. And that's like the ignorance, like, don't ask, don't tell, right? It's wild. The spiteful monsters to do this during the holidays. Yeah. So no one cared on that side that it was over Christmas. Ryan Reynolds, the day that they filed the CRD complaint and leaked it to the New York Times, all of a sudden his Sick Kids ads were out. Like, it was all planned. Like, I got targeted by Sick Kids ads, and I don't follow anyone. And I follow Justin Baldoni. And I wasn't even following him at that time, because I really didn't know who he was. I only started following him recently, and that would have been, was it late December? Well, yeah, it was right before Christmas, the CRD complaint. Yeah. Well, thank you. I don't think Blake ever thought this was going to court. Yeah. Yeah, I don't think so. Yeah, she could have allowed the process to happen, but she triggered this fiasco. Yep. So wild. All right, my friends. What are you feeling about all this? Oh, that's what I meant to say. Does anyone have Jed Wallace's, do you know where to find, if anyone will know, you guys will know, Jed Wallace's lawsuit, like the actual document? Is it available? Is it available? Because I want to dig into that a bit. I want to dig into that, but I can't find the actual document. But I'm not American, so is there a website you can go to? Oh, it's on Reddit. Perfect. There you go. Perfect. I will go over to Reddit. I'll find it. Because I want to know. Yeah, I just want to know what's going on over there a little bit more. Oh my gosh, it's just ridiculous. The day they filed the complaint, or a day before Ryan posted a video about children with cancer. Yeah. And paid ads, which are very expensive on Facebook to run paid targeted ads, especially with the net they put up. Because they would have been putting a net up of people that like aren't even following them, but are likely what they targeted, people following like People Magazine and TMZ and Justin Baldoni, right? So they would have like put a net out, a wide net for those ads. That was expensive. I don't know who was paying for those ads. Was it Sick Kids? Reddit's like the new Google, literally. Yeah. I'll find it and send it to you. You guys are the best. You guys take care of me. I like get done a live and all of a sudden there's all these comments of like, you have to check out this. Here's this video. Go check it out. Thank you, my friend. You guys are awesome. I just love you guys. He's definitely using his marketing team to spread those ads. Yep. That's true. I bet his marketing team's paying for it. Which that money could go to Sick Kids. They could have just put that money to Sick Kids. Like, donate more money. All right, my friends, that's what I got for you today. It was so nice to hang out with you guys. Thank you for hanging out with me. It's a snowy, cold day here, so I get to hang out by the fire. I have a fire going behind me and talk about all this. Hi, Julia. Okay, you're gonna knock my computer down. Oh, thank you for the kisses. Okay, Julia. Hi. Okay, I know. I love you too. Okay, Julia. All right, so with that, I will see you guys soon. Unless something crazy goes down. Hello, Denise. It's so nice to see you in the chat. Unless something crazy goes down tomorrow, which who knows, it might. I will see you guys Monday, and we'll cover what's going on with this podcast. See what goes on with it. I imagine there's going to be a little bit more in regards to mental health that comes up. Can you pull cards on how Blake and Ryan have been since it's been a month? Yeah, we can do that next week. Absolutely. Maybe we'll do that Monday. All right, my friends, it's been a pleasure. I will talk to you guys Monday. Enjoy the rest of your weekend, and I'll get a video out for you guys to introduce you to the animals on the farm animals that we've rescued. Bye, guys. I'll see you in the next one.